Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and day by day we're hearing tragic circumstances where, people who are meant to be protected are not protected, and that's the way that's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. The latest story was in today's Metro. The headlines says, abused wife murdered in front of son after being tracked to a refuge. Now, for those of you who do not know, if you're a victim of domestic abuse, there are refuges as opposed to refugees. Let me call it a place of refuge, where abused women mostly, they do have some men, are allowed to stay because they're victims of abuse in the home. And so this particular woman, she was put into a refuge. Now, I don't know how her husband or ex-husband tracked her down. And I was trying to look up because I've been seeing it more and more at work where spouses are tracking their partners. I don't know how they do it, but they're putting trackers on their phone and in their cars and all sorts. So in this particular instance, this victim, may she rest in peace, was tracked to a refuge and stabbed to death in front of their son. Can you imagine? That poor son is going to be traumatized for the rest of his life. And people deal with rejection in lots of different ways. And I think this was her ex-husband. But when you think that everyone has a right to make a decision, everybody has a right to live a life, and they shouldn't have to live under fear and intimidation and threat. And yet, every day I read reports where relationships have broken down and the partner will not accept it, and instead they get violent. So he's going to be doing years of time, of course, and it's just unimaginable. Let me just read it. It was written by Sam Corbishley, and like I said, it's from the Metro. A man who murdered his wife in front of their 7-month-old child has been jailed for at least 28 years. Habiba Mason, 26, tracked Kulsuma Akhtar, 27, to a refuge in Bradford, where she had gone to escape his violence, jealousy, and controlling behaviour. He stabbed her at least 26 times on April the 6th last year, leaving her bleeding to death in the gutter next to their son in a pram. A court-heard CCTV showed him smiling as he fled. Jurors heard Kulsuma had been moved from their home in Oldham, Greater Manchester, after Massum assaulted her, held knife to her throat and threatened to kill her over a completely innocuous message from a male colleague. Kulsuma's sister-in-law, Minara Begum, said she told her that Massum had stopped her wearing makeup, checked her phone to see who she was talking to, and would decide when she was allowed to leave the house, even to see her family. Kulsuma briefly went to live with her in-laws before returning to Mason, whose abuse continued to worsen. Miss Begum said Mason repeatedly threatened to kill Kulsuma, adding she told me he would tell her if she left him. Adding she told me he would tell her if she ever left him that he would kill her. Meanwhile, Kulsuma told her, "You will find my dead body someday," and she had asked if her in-laws would care for her son if Mason carried out his threats. Bradford Crown Court heard Mason used Kulsuma's phone location to stalk her and posted photos on Facebook, making it look like he was in Spain. Oh, I see what must have happened. He must have stolen her phone and then gone on Google where it shows the location of where you've been. That location would have shown that where the refuge is. I tell you something, if you're in an abusive relationship, you have got to hold tight to your phone. You mustn't let it out of your sight, because that person can track where you've been. And if they keep your phone, well, once they keep your phone, they can't track you. So I don't know how he got it, because if she was separated, how did he get the phone in order to track her? Anyway, I have no idea. Anyway, the last bit says, it's a bit tacky, this paper. Mason, who denied murder after he stabbed her 26 times, was seen on CCTV in the days leading up to the fatal attack, loitering, watching and waiting in the streets around the hostel. He tried to lure Kulsuma by sending her fake messages from the local GP practice, pretending their son had an appointment. As she was walking in the city centre with friends, pushing her baby in the pram, Masum confronted her and carried out the fatal attack. Jailing Masum for life, Judge Mr. Justice Cotter said, Kulsuma's son will never know his mother, he added. It is indeed a sad fact that it can be very difficult to entirely protect a woman in refuge from determined and cunning men intent on confrontation. Metro is shining a light on tragic deaths like Kulsuma's after launching out This Is Not Right campaign in November with the help of our partners at Women's Aid. The year-long drive aims to address the relentless epidemic of violence against women. And it's not just against women, it's against men as well. But the thing is that how can you be protected? Okay, they tell you to go to the police. The police will take that guy, will take the perpetrator, put them in, they will arrest them and then let them out on bail to go back and assault the woman. The police can't be there 24/7. The only way a woman can escape that situation is to leave, and leave everything and not tell anyone. That is the only way. It's a sad state of affairs, really, and I really empathise with that poor little baby who won't see his mum. The father, of course, has got no remorse. He left smiling after he stabbed her to death. As far as he's concerned, you left me, no one else is going to have you. And that's the attitude, there's so much resentment. And I still believe COVID has got a lot to do with it. It's kind of affected people's minds. I was talking to somebody today and she said it's caused mental illnesses. And, 2 years of isolation, 2 years of people close to you dying, 2 years of you not being able to go out and see friends, 2 years of being under the microscope, 2 years of being threatened, 2 years of constant repetition of epidemics and pandemics and vaccines and goodness knows what else. 2 years of being driven by fear. And they expect people to come out on the other side 100% okay. 90% are not okay. And we're seeing the results of it now. Anyway, I think I'll stop it there. I'm going to go home now. I had a long day at work today, so I'm but that's all for now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following. And thank you for commenting. Bye-bye.